And we are live. What's good, Trash Man? DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast. Yeah, I'm trying to sneak in a couple shows today, so I jumped on a little early, made some videos in the car. I got one out there now. Um, you know me, I always be talking ish. You know what I mean? When you're out and about, man, make sure that you're learning how to be social and you're getting your practice swings in and all that. Did a show about that. Oh, I did a video about that. I was in the car talking about it. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Um, and right now, man, we're gonna talk about it's Crime and Punishment Tuesday. Almost forgot. Right? Almost forgot. Thank goodness for Chat GPT. Chat is getting used to me. So when I'm working with it, getting stuff done, thumbnails done, doing whatever I'm doing, it will remind me, like, hey, today's Tuesday. You're supposed to be doing Crime and Punishment Tuesday. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let me go ahead and do a show real quick. So shout out to Don DeMarco to Chat GPT. It's Tuesday, man. I hope you guys are doing all right out there. I hope everything is well. Everything on my end is going pretty good. You know, could be worse. Fair to medium. Fair to mid. What did they say? Fair to Midland. What they say down in the Carolinas? Fair to Midland. It's doing good. I'm doing all right. Getting back to 100%. I'm not quite there yet. Still dealing with I guess you can call it PTSD, man, from being locked up, man. That had me tripping. I had a nightmare the other day. I haven't had a nightmare, man, in decades. I haven't had a nightmare in decades. I had one in Miami, thinking about the situation, being locked up or whatever. So that does weigh on you, bro. It weighs on you. You know what I mean? I'm talking to my, mental health people, and they're helping me through it. So anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about what's going on with ICE, what's going on in Texas and Maine. There's been a couple shootings that led to the deaths of two people. So remember, you're innocent until proven guilty in America. So the suspects, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. What's up with ICE? What's up with all this, man? We got the show all lined up ready for you guys. I hope you guys are ready. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Put your comments in the chat below. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. Shout out to Facebook and shout out to X. We're broadcasting there. We haven't got our following up as well over there as we do here, but we're getting there. We're gonna keep working on it. All my Facebook folks, I promise you, I'm gonna start commenting stuff like that on Facebook. Just never been a fan of the site, to be honest with you. I had a page over there forever. If you're sending me messages, if you're sending me DMs on Facebook, I probably won't see them. If you want to get a hold of me, hit me up on Instagram. The Instagram page is scrolling below. Just hit me on there. I Really Want to Know podcast, all one word. Hit me up on Instagram. Shoot me a DM. I will see that. If you hit me up on Facebook, I may or may not see it. I mean, eventually I will. And I'm working on it, guys. If I could just figure out how to get my AI, if I could figure out a way to get AI to answer my chats on Facebook, I'm sure there's a way, right? And, one of you real sharp young kids, let me know. How do I do it? I guess I could just ask Chat GPT how to do it. I use Claude as well. But I want to see those comments myself. So, it is what it is. Like, the more platforms you're on, the more you stretch yourself out, the harder it is to get to everyone. So if you really want to get to me, want to holler at me, your best bet is on Instagram. I have a page on YouTube, on Facebook, been there forever, but I hardly ever go there. So hit me up on Instagram. You'll get me almost instantly. And of course, you can send me an email, dl_saint@yahoo.com. You can hit me up. If you want to email me, you can do it that way. So, man, let's get into this. We don't have any videos or anything like that, man. We're just running. We're just going to run right off of AI here. I just, wanted to pull up some stuff. AI does a really good job of kind of just putting all your notes together. So I put my notes in, and it just makes it organized and makes it easy for me to flow through this thing. So we're talking about Crime and Punishment Tuesday. Should the ICE agent go to jail. We're talking about the ICE agent who allegedly shot and killed um, a suspect or someone that they pulled over who was, someone suspected of being in the country illegally. Um, should he go to jail? Or should she go to jail? Whoever pulled the trigger. So, that's the opening question right there. Should the ICE agent who shot the suspect in Texas go to jail? Right now, my answer is I don't know. All right. I'm leaning towards absolutely 100% they should. If they're, if a crime occurred, if the stories don't line up, if it turns out that they were negligent in their duties, then yeah. But we don't know all that right now. This is why the investigations have to happen, right? Um, so officially, my answer right now will be I don't know, but I'm leaning towards absolutely. I mean, come on now, give you a badge and a gun with extraordinary powers come, extraordinary come, with great powers come great responsibilities. Is that what it is? With great powers come responsibility. What's the line from Spider-Man? So yeah, if you raise your right hand and you vow the oath, to uphold the Constitution and the laws of America and serve and protect and all that, and find out that you out here just swacking people, yeah, you should go to jail. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think that's okay for now. Too many people have already decided guilt or innocence before the investigation is complete, and that's how it is whenever these things happen. So you got to give it time to unfold, and you got to give time for investigators to investigate. That's not how the criminal justice system should work. We shouldn't be jumping to conclusion. We shouldn't say, yeah, guilty. I mean, that's mob justice, and that's no good for nobody. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, I put extra weight on law enforcement officials, man. We give them the ability to take your freedom, give them the ability, the legal ability to take your life. So those people who are in the, out there doing this, man, they should be under the highest scrutiny. It is what it is. So, right. So justice is about evidence. And that's what we want to get across today. Like justice is about evidence, no politics, not politics, not immigration, not whether you support ICE, not whether you oppose ICE. Um, the law should apply equally to everyone. It doesn't matter if you far left, far right, somewhere in between. It doesn't matter. None of that matters, man. It should get into what happened. And for those of you guys who follow me, for those who know, you guys know I'm a retired air traffic controller. In that world, it's all about the investigation. It's all about going back and listening to what happened, going back and watching the replay of the radar displays and all that, and what happened when, and what did you do then, right? In air traffic control, it boils down to seconds. I'm not kidding. It can boil down to seconds, and then of course you bring out the book and it's like, hey, this is what you were trained to do. This is what the book says. This is what you're supposed to be doing. What did you actually do? That's air traffic, and it takes time. Like you sit there, something happens, you're sitting around filling out your paperwork. You're like, yeah, I know I'm good. I know I did X, Y, and Z. And then you actually go and listen to yourself and you realize, like, I didn't do that. I could sworn I did. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. And I imagine it's the same thing with law enforcement. You're thinking about, well, what did I do? What do I think I did versus what did I actually do? And it's tough. This is why you got to have investigations, right? So, what do we know? This is the latest news on the Texas incident. What do we know? Harris County District Attorney Sean Terr has confirmed the shooting is being treated as a criminal investigation. Wow. Not just an administrative review. Investigators are still working to determine exactly which agent fired the fatal shot. Um, and officials have cautioned the investigation could take months or even years. Woo, that's huge. That's huge. That is huge. And that's from the Texas Tribune. That's huge, guys. Because normally law enforcement circle the wagons, they try to brush as much as they can underneath the rug. You know what I mean? They just, hey, this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. They just keep it pushing. But I knew early on, I want to say 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, there was a report that the coroner in that county ruled the cause of death homicide, which I thought was crazy. They don't normally do that. So I guess the coroner's like, hey, I'm just going to do my job. I don't care if law enforcement was involved or not. This is what we see here based on what we have. This is considered a homicide. Now we hear that the Harris County District Attorney has confirmed that the shooting is being treated as a criminal investigation. I think that's good news. I think that's good news. I think that's how things should be. Wow, that's good stuff right there. Brother Pablo's in the building. What's happening? I'm not talking about what happened in Maine. I'm talking about what happened in Texas. Maine is still, like still too fresh for me. I want to give it a little more time. We might touch on it just a little bit, but I want to focus on what happened in Texas. But brother Pablo was saying the latest news is there was a witness who saw the car trying to run over the ICE agent, and that's in Maine. Okay, okay, I haven't really looked at Maine, but keep in mind we've heard this before, where and we saw like what happened in Minneapolis. That woman tried to run over that police officer. It was like, or that ICE agent. It's like, nah, and his actions didn't really add up. But we're gonna wait and see. And this is why purposely I'm holding back on Maine. Want to focus on Texas. But that's crazy though. See, the man who was deleted, Lorenzo Salgado Arguo, I think I'm probably hacking his name up. Forgive me to the family. I'm sorry. Was reportedly not the primary target of the ICE operation. See, I didn't know that. Initially, they were saying that he was in fact the primary target, and they rolled up on him and did whatever they did. Wow, that's crazy. But his family has come out, and by all accounts, this guy is like a pillar of his community. Been in America basically a lifetime. I want to say he's been in America over 30 years. Was currently working on getting permanent status, so he was doing all that and has a business, like has put his kids through college. I'm going to say he put like 2 or 3 kids through college. There's one of his kids currently going through college. Hard working man, the kind of person you would want in America. Um, and yeah, it looks like he was not the primary target of the investigation, where initially they said he was. So this is why you want to give time for investigations to play out. Surveillance video has surfaced showing parts of the encounter, but they do not capture every angle, leaving important questions unanswered. That's the Washington Post. Um, they're going to continue to investigate this thing, and right off rip, they said it's going to take months or even years before they come to a determination, which means what does that really mean? Like, okay, this ICE officer is going to be walking around with his, badge and a gun, his ICE agent on the streets for months or years. I would think that they removed him from the street right away. Whoever this agent is, or the agents involved, probably were being put on desk duty. But they're investigating this thing as a criminal investigation. I wonder if they get to keep working while this investigation is going on, and who is leading the investigation. I'm assuming it's the Harris County Police Department, or I don't know, like who is going to lead on this investigation? They're going to bring the FBI in, or another, federal entity to investigate. Well, I wonder who's in charge of this investigation. But it's going to be prosecuted by the Harris County District Attorney. We know that. So I guess they're going to be working with their law enforcement there. I don't know if it's going to be a state entity coming in to do this investigation, or whatever. But crazy, man. Video helps, man. Video helps, but video is not the end all. Videos are just, but video rarely tells the entire story, because you only really get one part of it, right? And that's true. That's true. A lot of people have been convicted just on video evidence alone, and a lot of people have been acquitted based on video evidence alone. So this is a lot going on with that right now. It is kind of tough, brother. But this is how it is. It's a tough gig. I mean, if you're out there, they give you a badge and a gun, and you got a lot of responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. I think that's the line. But that's what. So the video helps, but it's not. It really tells the entire story. They got a bunch of witnesses out there. They're gathering up ring cams. They're grabbing other video sources. So yeah. So then, okay, here's the main thing. So we're gonna talk about the latest out of Maine. Another fatal ICE shooting within days of Texas. Another ICE agent fatally shot a man during an operation in Bedford, Maine. So the latest reporting indicates that the man was also not the target of the original arrest operation. Wow, he wasn't the target. That's according to ABC News. Department of Homeland Security says the agent fired because he believed the driver posed a danger to officers and the public. That's according to PBS. So it's kind of going to what Brother Pablo was saying, how the officer or the agent on the scene said that, or witnesses are saying that the guy was trying to run people over with his vehicle. The shooting is now under investigation by the Maine Attorney General's office with additional federal review. That's the main morning. Who was that? The main Morning Star reported that. Um, Reports indicated that there was no body cam footage available, and that's a problem. I do believe that all law enforcement, if you're wearing a badge and a gun, you can go out and shoot people. You should have on a body camera. You should have on a body camera, unless you're undercover, which is a different kind of thing. But if you're just out there executing warrants or picking people up or participating in operations, you should have a body camera on so people can see, so the courts and your superiors can see exactly what you saw at the time. Um, no body cameras. That's crazy. And again, that's Maine. So we're waiting on. They didn't say anything about the other witness, brother Pablo. They didn't say anything about the other witness, but I mean, it's just a matter of time before that gets reported on, right? And then here's some breaking news. Because of these two shootings, ICE has reportedly suspended most immigration-related vehicle stops while it reviews policies and procedures. And that's according to the Associated Press. Wow. ICE has stopped allowing their agents to participate in these operations that require them to stop, like vehicle stops. Wow, that is okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Now, this is Associated Press. The Trump administration orders ICE to suspend most vehicle stops after two deadly shootings. Wow. So this was today, July 14th, 2026, in response to two deadly shootings involving immigration and customs enforcement. Oh, is this another one? Let me see if I can pull this whole thing up. Can I pull this whole thing up? Yeah, it looks like I can. Hopefully, it won't glitch too bad. So, the Trump administration, let's see, Trump administration officials have told immigration and customs enforcement officers to suspend most vehicle stops after two deadly shootings over a little, in little over a week. A person familiar with the matter confirmed on Tuesday. The order came a day after an ICE officer shot, killed a Colombian driver in Maine, and a week after one shot and killed a motorist in Houston, reviewing criticisms of the agency's tactics during enforcement operations. The suspension is not absolute, and there's room for exceptions when executing criminal warrants or working with partner agencies, according to the person who spoke Tuesday on condition of anonymity, to discuss sensitive law operations. Hundreds of people protesting the Maine Tuesday over the killing. So that's like the main. Then it goes into the main story. So I think that's wild, bro. I think that's wild that someone within the Trump administration decided to say, you know what, we're not going to let customs enforcement agents conduct vehicle stops. Wow. And even before, we know that there are a lot of agents that they've hired that were virtually not trained, like just horrible training, put them out there on the streets. And these people are, out here just doing what they're doing. And now even the people in the Trump administration have seen this and they're like, okay, enough's enough. Let's figure this out. Maybe they're going to go back and look at the people they hired. Maybe they're going to enforce some more training. Maybe they're going to remove some people, quietly just kind of fire people. Because, with most government entities, that first year that you're in that agency or whatever, you could be fired for no reason. I don't know about ICE. I know in the FAA they do that. Your first 12 months in the FAA, you could be fired for anything. And I think that holds true for all, or at least most government agencies. So, if that is the case, if you're on that year probation, they can go and just fire all the people that they hired. They can kind of just review what they've been doing. And if they see anything in there they don't like, they can fire them without cause. They don't have to, you're gone. Nothing the union can do about it. There's nothing anyone can do about it. So maybe they're going to do that. I don't know. But I think that's huge. That's huge, bro. That is absolutely huge. They went in there and someone from the Trump administration said, okay, we're going to suspend most immigration related vehicle stops. Wow. That was yesterday. So why reports never match? Right. So let's talk about that. So now we got to get into what's going on. And then we have reports out there that just never seems to match, right? Law enforcement will come out and they'll say, we did this because of this, or we did that because of this, or we did this because of that. And they'll say, this is all, just preliminary, this is what we have. We gather, we're still investigating, we're trying to figure out what's going on. But here's the narrative. And they put out the narrative. And then a couple of days later, witnesses come forward. You get video evidence that will contradict that initial statement. And then what do they say? Like, oh, like we told you, it's under investigation. So we're looking at that. We saw that. We're going to go back and we're going to change our story, basically. And just an investigation. So they take it out of the hands of the agency that's under fire, and they give it to another department or something like that and let them go and do a proper investigation, because people need to know that a proper investigation was done. We're not just circling the wagons. We're not just going to let somebody get away with taking someone's life with just a smack on the hand. We're going to find out what's going on. And so let's talk about that. Like, why reports never match? Like, you got the officer statements, you got witness statements, you got video, you got forensics, you got medical evidence. Everyone sees different things, right? And that's normal. Remember when I was talking about as an air traffic controller, something goes wrong and have you listen to the tapes, and you will swear, right, on your life that you said this. And normally in air traffic control is like, hey, this guy got onto the runway. First they're gonna say, hey, did you issue a whole short? Like, yeah, I issued a whole short. Did they read the back? Did they basically say, okay, we're gonna do that? Yeah. I got the read back because that's required. And you go back and you listen to the tape and find out, oh, you didn't get the read back. And someone else may have answered that call, and then bam, someone goes across the runway. And that, whose fault is that? That's really the controller. That's really the controller. But what does the FAA do? The FAA do right away. The FAA will try to spin a narrative that makes it look like the pilot is 100% at fault, when in fact they know day one, like, nah, that's minute one, that's the controller's fault. So same thing here. You got law enforcement. They're going to, put out their statement. They're going to make their agents look the best that they absolutely can. And then conflicting information comes out. Witness statements come out from other people. Video comes out. And now it's like, now the agency looks like they're trying to cover something up. So again, this is all normal stuff. The 3 questions, man. I got some questions here. And this might be something we do moving forward on Crime and Punishment Tuesdays, man. Let's do 3 questions. Question 1: was the shooting legal? Was this a justified shooting? Was this something that had to happen? Did that agent fear for his own life or the lives of others, or grave bodily harm? Right. That's what they need to determine. And then you add to it that most of these federal agents don't have body cams. I don't think they have body cams in Texas, but we'll find out. So all we have to go on are the agents on the scene, the shooter and his partners, his or her partners, and what they're saying. You don't have any other evidence other than their word. And a lot of folks are like, man, we don't want to believe them. They know they did this thing. If they don't get their story straight, they're all going to jail. So you got that. Was it justified? Now this investigation is going to have to figure that out. So that's question 1. Was it justified? Deadly force is judged by the legal standard, not public opinion. So there is a legal standard here for deadly force. And the investigators are going to get in there and they're going to look at it. They're going to do everything they can to help out the agent. I'm sure they're going to do what they can to give them the benefit of the doubt. However, hard evidence is hard evidence. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Yeah, brother Pablo. Yeah, you heard that on the radio. It probably is true. We were talking about the witness who saw in Maine that the suspect was trying to ram people with their vehicle. Again, this is all going to come out. Everyone has a phone. Everyone has a camera, man. And he's like, yeah, DL saying Trump is not that bad, man. Trump is horrible, bro. You know I'm not a Trump guy. Cut that out. Trump is absolutely horrible. He has us involved in a forever war in the Middle East, man, that jeopardizes fossil fuel. Like, bro, this is a problem, man. Look at the price of oil right now. We're going to talk about that later, but look at the price of oil right now. I mean, Trump is horrible for this country. It's great for Trump. Your last name is Trump, and you one of Trump's homeboys. You're making some money right now, but it's horrible for the rest of us. And I'm definitely going to do a show on this, man, because I mean, I can see oil being $100 a barrel by the end of this week. Within a couple of weeks, oil might be as high as $150 a barrel, bro. Now you're looking at, $6, $7, $8 a gallon in America. If it gets high enough, I think if we hit $200 a barrel, for oil, I think we'll be at $8 a gallon here in America for gas, regular unleaded as a national average. $8 for everybody else, which means it's going to be out there where you are, brother. It's going to be what, over $10 a gallon for regular unleaded. That's going to shut down everything. Can you imagine if gas is that expensive? You know how much your milk and bread and cookies and eggs are going to cost? Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. We're definitely going to talk about it, but I'm definitely not a Trump guy. I just knew Trump was going to do this. He's a horrible businessman. Like, Trump is just like Mr. Magoo. He just kind of lucks his way into things, and that's good for him, but it's bad for us and for those people who back him. Like, look, this is what you voted for. You know what I mean? But we definitely need body cams, man, on everybody. I'll agree with you there, bro. Body cams are definitely necessary and should be the law of the land. Again, if you're undercover, that's different. But if you're out here just doing your job as law enforcement, you're going on these missions, you're going on these operations to stop people, you should have a body cam on. So yeah, man. So was it a legal shooting? We're gonna find out. It when you look at what's going on down there in Texas, though, they're saying they're handling this as a criminal investigation. The coroner came out and said, yeah, they ruled it a homicide. Bro, it's like, okay, it looks like some laws were broken. Right. So it looks like they're coming. They're coming for, these agents. What's the next question? Was it tactically smart? And that's something that I'm always thinking about. When these sort of things happen, it's like, okay, tactically, what was going on? What was going on? You guys go in there, you're rolling in, is multiple agents versus, one or two suspects or whatever. Like, you have the numbers, you have the firepower. How is it that some unarmed suspect, some unarmed human winds up dead? That is a problem. That's a tactical issue. Was it tactically smart? Was it tactically sound? Did they go by the book? That's a big question right there. And I wonder what it is. Like, did they put themselves in situations where they had to fire their weapon? Whereas if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have had to fire their weapon. There's all kind, like the one in Minneapolis. What was her name? Was it Renee Good, the woman that was shot in the face by the ICE officer? That ICE officer, what he was doing was not tactically smart. He put himself in a situation and almost looked as if he was trying to come up with a reason so he could use deadly force against someone, and that's what he did. Right. And again, that case is still open. That guy, in my opinion, should face charges for that. That was manslaughter. And I would talk to who was it? It was me and whose platform was I on? Glenn Lawrence. I was on Glenn Lawrence's platform, and we talked about that back and forth. We watched the video, we slowed it down, sped it up. I think that agent put himself in a bad tactical position, and he used his weapon. And had he used better tactical decisions, he wouldn't have had to use his weapon. So they're going to get into that. So was it tactically smart? Something can be legal and still be poor tactics, and I think that was the case in Minneapolis. Now, here's the thing: that ain't over yet. I don't believe that's over. I don't think they gave that guy a pass. I'm gonna have to look that up. He's gonna, he's gonna have to face the music at some point, I believe. But I could be wrong. Check me if I'm wrong, and correct me in the chat, please. Question number 3: could it have been avoided? They're always gonna ask that question. They're gonna look at your tactics. They're gonna look at whatever video you have. They're gonna break down your statements. They're gonna say, all right, well, if you hadn't have done this, and if you had instead done that, would you have had to draw your weapon? And people are like, oh, now we're Monday morning quarterbacking. Yeah, because someone died. Yeah. Yes. So that's what's going on. And that's probably what these agents are going to wind up kind of clinging to. Is like, well, look, we didn't mean to do it. Yeah, we made some bad tactical decisions, but once into the situation, we're into the situation. We got to do what we got to do. That might be their defense when it's all said and done, unless there's more information out there. Like, maybe they tried to cover some stuff up. Maybe they lied about some stuff and got caught. That'll be a different situation. So, yeah, man, could it have been avoided? And the answer to that is probably yes. It could have been avoided. Unless the guy was armed and firing on you, I don't see why you would draw your weapon on this guy. Again, I don't have the information in front of me. None of us do. I I mean, it is what it is. I check California gas, man. Y'all at $8 already, if I'm not mistaken. 7.40 or something like that is the average in California. I'm so glad I don't live out there anymore. Um, California, you're definitely right about more for gas. He's like, man, he's like, I ride, I don't drive. But everything is gonna go up, man. Like if you're riding a bus, you're riding a BART or whatever, everything is gonna go up. Even though they might be using electric to run some of their public transportation, they're still gonna raise those prices as well, just because they can, because everything else is going up. But if you're using Uber or if you're, taking cabs, if you're doing anything or using anything that requires gas, either regular gas, unleaded, or diesel, you're gonna be paying more, right? You're gonna be paying more. Like I said, I do not miss the high gas prices in California. Boy, I was so happy to get out of there. California's a beautiful place though. Like once it gets, on the other side of this recession, I'll definitely be going back out to visit. Like this, I mean, man, Big Bear, the Redwood Forest up there, man, like going to Baja, like going down to the beaches, Santa Monica, the Santa Monica Pier, Malibu. Man, I love going to Malibu, just being in Malibu, just kind of sitting there listening to the waves crash against the rocks in Malibu. Man, that's some of the coolest stuff. I was with a friend. She had a beachside condo, just with the windows open, man, just sit there and listen to the waves crash. Man, I've never slept so good, bro. So California is great. San Diego is beautiful, like all up and down the coast is beautiful. Even inland isn't great, but so expensive, man. So expensive. So why do we need body cameras? I think most people understand why we need body cameras. I don't think you get a lot of pushback from people these days, but the federal agents should wear body cams, man. Here are the reasons: to protect themselves, to protect the officers, right? To protect the citizens, to reduce lawsuits, to build public trust, and to preserve evidence. If you're doing your job the way you were trained to do it, provided you were trained correctly, you want body cams on. I want body cams and I want audio too. I want video and audio. I want people to hear what I'm doing, see what I'm doing, see and hear what I'm dealing with. And I'm just going to do everything by the book. And I ain't got nothing to worry about, man. I'm golden. Like so many air traffic controllers, when I started my career, like, man, I hate it, man. This stuff is recorded, but I hate the tapes. I don't mind the tapes, man. If I do something wrong, we can fix it. That's a teachable moment. I can fix it. I love listening to tapes. I listen to myself all the time. At least once a month, I would pull my own tapes and just listen. And I'm going through and I'm trying to see how many times I made mistakes. To me, a mistake is a mistake. If you use the word "and," but you were supposed to say "the," to me, that's a mistake. If you don't use I was big on phraseology. I wanted to be as perfect as I could be in phraseology. I never got in trouble with phraseology as far as my checks. They would go through and they would check like 20 transmissions or something like that, 100 transmissions, something like that. They would go through as part of management's job. I never had any problems. They would tell me, "Oh, you were perfect." Like, there's no way I was perfect. There's no way you pulled 100 transmissions or 50 or 25 or whatever you pulled, and I didn't make a single mistake. I did something wrong. They're like, "Nope, nope, you were perfect." And I would go back and listen to it. And yeah, and I would find some errors, but I was always pushing myself to do it by the book, to be perfect. You never could. It's just so many rules. In law enforcement, I would imagine I would do the same thing. I know the rules. I know the Bill of Rights. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what the suspects, I know what their rights are, what they should be doing. I got my weapon. We got our tactical plan. Bro, I don't care if it's recorded. I want it recorded so I can debrief later. Now, when it's all over, we can do an after action report and actually see what went down, and we can find how we can get better. This is why I love audio and video, especially for law enforcement. In the military, we do it. You don't think the SEALs and the Rangers and the Green Berets, when they go on these MARSOC guys, when they go on these missions, that they're not breaking down their footage when it comes over, when they're after action reviews? You don't think they're going in there looking at that and like, okay, Jonesy was in the wrong position, or okay, I was little too slow turning this corner, or whatever, like clearing this room, or like, hey, Matthews was a little too loose with the explosives. Like, you go back and you see where you went wrong, and then you go and you correct it. So I love video and audio, man. I absolutely do. I don't see why people have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I don't know why they have a problem with it. Um, yeah, the guy in Texas had been in America, I want to say over 30 years, bro. Over 30 years. Let's say he had a business. Like he was living the American dream. Right? He was doing everything he was supposed to do. It was just one problem. He entered the country illegally, and that's a big problem. I'm not trying to say it's not. That's a big problem. But we should have ways to fix that. And it sounds as if he was on a path to citizenship. Um, it sounds like he was close, and maybe he missed the cutoff this time. Trump came into office, he wasn't able to get the Biden deal, so he was still trying to figure out how to guys. These are the men and women that you want to try to help stay in the country. But again, they came in illegally, so I get that. I'm not trying to dismiss that. Like you came in illegally, and the rules say what the rules say. So if the rules state you got to go, then you got to go. It's a matter of, okay, let's change the rules instead of going out here and doing what ICE is doing right now, and it ends in the loss of life. That's just too extreme, in my opinion. I mean, it is what it is. But law enforcement definitely needs the public trust. They definitely want to reduce lawsuits. Right? Again, this is a great training tool. These are the things that I believe are beneficial to having body cams, audio and video. The problem with the politics, man, like, why does everything become political in this country? Everything becomes political, man. No one wants to sit down and just take a look at what's going on and say, hey, that's a good idea, that's a bad idea. It always devolves into left right politics, and not just left right politics, like extreme politics. Build a wall, you know. Then you got the other side saying no walls, let everyone come here unrestricted. You can't do that. We don't want to build a wall. We don't want to let everybody in either. You know, that whole thing with the police, defund the police. That's silly. You don't want to do that. That's dumb. Right. But then on the other side, you're just like, police can do no wrong. No body cams. Let them do whatever. You don't want to do that either. So why is it we go to the extremes? How come we just can't solve the problem? That's my thing. Everything has to be political. If ICE shoots someone, right, there should be an investigation. If ICE does it, if your neighborhood police officer does it, if the FBI does it, if ATF does it, right, they do it in the military. There's rules of engagement. I was a soldier once upon a time. You can't just grab your weapon and start popping people. Like, no, there are rules, man. There are rules. And if you do, you're going to have to answer for that. So the same should be true on the streets here in America, even more so. Again, you're taking someone's freedom, you're taking someone's life. No. So if I shoot someone, man, or anyone else shoots someone, we got to do what we got to do, which means investigations, right? And all that other stuff that we've been talking about. Right. So if I shoot someone, one side always says murder. The other side always says good shoot. Right. Neither side has all the evidence yet. And we're all guilty of that. I'm not gonna lie, as soon as I saw that headline, first I was disappointed. Like, man, they were doing so well. Like, ICE was out of the headlines. They had a new head. So I'm like, oh, I guess they squared them away over there. And all of a sudden, bam, you got this thing. And right away, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was thinking, like, it's probably not a good shoot. The agent is probably at fault. That's what I was thinking originally. But I'm like, hey, I'm gonna wait and see. Let's get some investigation going on. Let's see let's go gather some information, right? But in my mind, I'm heavily biased. And then, my counterpart, like Glenn Lawrence, is probably heavily biased the other way. It's probably saying, no, it's probably a good shoot. That guy did something to get shot. Right? That's just where we go to. But even Glenn and I do agree that, hey, let's get the investigation going. Let's see what's going on. Let's get all the information, and then let's make a determination. Where sometimes people are like, nope, this is how it is, how it should be. It should be a good shoot no matter what. He was wearing a badge, or it was a bad shoot no matter what, because I was a citizen. I was an innocent civilian. So that's us in America, man. It's like it's always one side says this and the other side says that. Right? So, and we do all that without any information. Without any information. Brother Pablo was saying, are newer air traffic controllers trained the same as you were? Or you saying, are newer air traffic controllers trained the same way? Like, are they trained the way I was trained? No, they're not. No, absolutely not. They're not. Too fragile. They can't handle it for whatever reason. The government doesn't want them to handle it. Like, we were held accountable. We can only make so many mistakes. And we had what we call deals. If you had an operational error, like, you can only get so many operational errors within a time frame. So you got 2 years, you're going to get so many operational errors. And if you got too many, you were gone. Right? Nah, they don't do that anymore. We used to get punished for making mistakes. If your mistake was bad enough, you got punished for it. They will pull you away from airplanes, put you somewhere else. That was how we came up. Today, nah, not even. This is why we're having so many problems out here with air traffic control. You got these controllers who, I mean, they're just entitled, right? They're not as good as they think they are. They believe they accomplished something that they didn't. I mean, you talk about lowering the bar to a point where there is no bar, and it's just like each generation, like it's less and less and less. Instead of making it tougher and tougher, they make it easier and easier. So nah, bro, they're not trained the same as me. They're not trained the same as the controllers who came before me. I get that. A lot of the old timers, the people we call old timers, called us the last generation of real controllers. Like that's it. That's the last generation. We're the ones who had to go through like some hard stuff. I mean, it is what it is. Then the controllers that came after me, I mean, we trained some really good controllers. I know the first, like into the early 2000s, man, I trained some really good controllers, and they're out there and they're doing their thing and they're doing a really good job. But they're saying that the new controllers are like really bad. They'll admit, like, yeah, we didn't go through what y'all went through, but we caught a little bit. We caught some strays. These young kids, man, you can't tell them nothing. And this is why you're seeing what we're seeing out here in the world of air traffic. I'm definitely going to be doing some more shows. There's an incident that happened in LAX. I want to talk about an airplane took off, a small airplane took off, declared an emergency, came back around and landed. Want to go over that. It was an outstanding job, and the controller that was running that emergency, I personally know one of my homies did an outstanding job. One of the old school controllers did a great job. But we're going to break it down, and I'll point out some mistakes because we always do. Like when I talk about mistakes, I'm just talking about technical, by the book kind of things. And then there was a thing that happened in Miami. I'm gonna talk about that as well because you guys know I worked Miami Tower for a while, and that one was like a bad one. So I'm gonna come back and do those two shows so you can see it, bro. See, DL Saint, what do you think about the new Socialist Democratic Party, or is that for a later episode? We're going to do an episode on it, brother. We're going to do an episode on it. I'll just say this real quick. I don't believe that America as a whole has turned socialist or communist. I don't believe that for a moment. What I think is going on is Americans are like, look, we're sick of the 1% getting all these handouts. We're sick of this corporate socialism that we have in America. We're sick of using my tax money to bail out these corporations who are just, reckless, and they're blowing it. They're making these mistakes, losing this money and using my money to bail them out. I want something now. I think that's what's going on now. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. I want health care. I want child care. I want a working wage. I want a union. I want an organization that's going to look out for my benefit down here at bottom 99. And I think that's what's going on. I think Americans they've reached their limit. They're fed up with the regular politicians. They're fed up with the Republicans and the Democrats. They understand. I think the average American understands that the 1% owns the Republicans and the Democrats. They're fed up. They're fed up. And they're like, you know what? You got this person over here who's a socialist or whatever, but they're going to get me, some sort of health care. They're going to get me some sort of child care. I want them in office, right? They're going to give me some affordable food. They're going to give me a raise in the minimum wage. Y'all know the minimum wage hasn't been touched in 30 years or something like that? Some crazy number, right? Do you guys know what the federal minimum wage is? Right? Do you know? Put it in the chat if you know what the federal minimum wage is. So yeah, that's what I think is going on right now. We're going to do a show on this soon. I'm going to do a show on this hopefully by Friday, maybe no later than Monday. We're going to do a show about it because everyone's talking about it. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're going to continue to see this push. But let's get back to this, man. I've been talking about air traffic, FAA stuff, federal aviation stuff. So let's go ahead and do official comparisons. Here's FAA comparison. This is unique to me, right? Because I know what's going on. In aviation, we never investigate an accident by starting with the conclusion. And that's the fact. You start with the situation. What happened? There was a loss of separation. Okay. You start there. What led to this loss of separation? What do? They go and pull all the information and they go talk to everyone involved. They talk to the pilots. They talk to the controllers. They talk to the tower controllers, the radar controllers, the center controllers. They talk to everybody. They look 2 hours before. They look at everything 2 hours before the incident and 2 hours after the incident. That's how involved it is. You have one thing that happens. They're looking at stuff 2 hours before and 2 hours after, and they find more things, which leads to more different investigations. That's how they do it, right? So yeah, FAA collects radar data, audio recordings, maintenance history. They do that. Any witnesses out there, then they determine what happened, right? Police investigations still work exactly that same way. The FAA looks at everything, bro. Like, could you imagine if you're a cop, you go out, something happens, and then the investigating team shows up and they start investigating everything 2 hours before this incident and 2 hours after that incident, right? And then come to find out that you was, smoking on the job or whatever, like smoking something illegal, or you was banging your girlfriend when you should have been training, or you were doing this or doing that. They do all that, man. That's what the FAA does. Could you imagine if that's how the investigations went with law enforcement? I mean, you would see an immediate change to law enforcement. Guys are like, let me stay on my toes, bro, because they're going to look at everything. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. So, should the agent go to jail? At the top of the show, I was like, maybe, but I told you guys, I'm kind of like, yeah, if we could find out that this person did something wrong, it was egregious enough. Absolutely. So maybe not. He should, he or she should go to jail. Right, here's what matters. If the investigation proved there was no imminent threat, criminal charges could and should be appropriate, I believe. If they do this investigation and they determine that there was no reason for you to draw your weapon and fire on this person, yeah, you should be held accountable. Yeah, that's manslaughter. You should face that. Right? If the investigators prove the suspect posed an imminent deadly threat, the shooting may be legally justified. Like if the guy lunged and throwing like rocks and had a knife or some sort of weapon and was advancing on the agent, okay, all right. If that's the case, it's like, oh well, hey man, they had this investigation. That agent's life was in danger. You guys know we talked about that shooting at the Walmart parking lot down here in Florida, down there in like the Fort Lauderdale area in Broward County, where a woman fired on a dude, one round, and that was that. He didn't survive his injuries, right? One round. Now, they're looking at that case and they're like, well, should she be arrested? Was that stand your ground? It's like, clearly it looked like it. We got video, not a lot of audio, but we got video. Clearly it looked like the guy was following her. She had a weapon. He didn't back away. He kept coming at her. She finally fired at him. Right? They're looking at that. And a lot of people are like, man, she should be arrested. She should. That's stand your ground, bro. That's what it looks like. So same thing here with law enforcement, man. You got to look at it. You got to see, man, like, was there a imminent deadly threat present? If so, then the shooting would be justified. It is what it is. The badge shouldn't protect someone from accountability. That's the end of, and that's a real, that's a Don DeMarco statement right there, man. The badge should not protect someone from accountability. You discharge a weapon and it resulted in loss of life. That should be scrutinized. But it also shouldn't automatically make someone guilty. Facts. You know what I mean? Brother Ted's in the building. What's happening, fam? I mean, it's what it is. It's like the pendulum is swinging the other way. It seems that way, but it's always a bunch of people on one side or the other, man. The pendulum, in this case, it just keeps swinging and, swinging around crazy, whatever. It is what it is. It's like Brother Pablo was saying, I think about $7 for the federal minimum wage. In the Bay Area, I think it's about $30. Yeah, you're right. It's around $7 for federal minimum wage. I think it might be like $7.25, $7.50, something like that. Think about that. That is the federal minimum wage, bro. That needs to go up. Yeah, in the Bay Area, $30 an hour is not outrageous, right? In Mobile, Alabama, $30 an hour is outrageous. That's a lot of money. But in the Bay, in LA, in San Diego, that's not crazy. Certainly $20, $25 that's what the people at McDonald's should be making, because everything costs so much out there. So that's what we're talking about, man. That's what we're talking about, bro. Certainly. Right? And minimum wage hadn't gone up. So again, when we talk about this, we're going to talk about this whole democratic socialist movement, bro. We're going to talk about this, man. Like I said, I don't believe the average American is ready to try socialism. I just think the average American is sick of seeing the corporate socialists out here. We don't have a free market. If we were free market capitalists, Chase wouldn't be around anymore. Bear Stearns would have been gone. You look at all those other things. Who else? Like, I would say probably 4 or 5 of the too big to fail banks would be gone. They never would have survived the '08 thing if we had true free capitalism, right? Free market capitalism. We wouldn't have a central bank, right? If capitalism takes care of those who screw up, but we don't have that. Every time they screw up, they come to us, and they're about to come to us again, right? We have this debt ceiling coming. We got all this debt that needs to be serviced. We got this debt wall coming. There's a lot of people, a lot of corporations out there. The banks done loan a lot of money to. Like, y'all see what's going on with private credit? It is a problem. What's going to happen? There's going to be some bailouts, bro. Lehman Brothers should not have been the only bank to fail, right? The only investment bank. All those investment banks that were in over their head should have went under, right? Back in '08. We don't have that. And people are like, okay, I've had enough. The average American wants their bailout now. Like, man, give me some of that money, bro. I want my bailout. That's what's going on. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to try to get that show for Friday. We're going to talk about the Democratic Socialists, right? Because I'm telling you, man, Brother Powell was like, Obama gave lots of money to the big banks back in 2010 or around there so they would survive. Yeah, Bush set that up. TARP came under Bush. Obama got in office. He wasn't going to stop that. And again, he's owned by the 1% too. I love Obama. Don't get me wrong, but he's owned by the same 1% that owns, George W. Bush, that owns Trump, that owns Biden, right? They own these politicians, man. They own them. And this is what we're going to talk about, bro. I think that's a change. But let's get back. Let's finish this up. I promised myself I was going to get this done in an hour. We got 8 minutes on. I already know I'm going to run over, right? So here's some discussion points, right? Why are Americans so quick to decide, man? Is it politics, social media, confirmation bias, distrust of government? Yes to all. Yes to all. This is why Americans are so quick to decide either way, right? Americans don't want to take the time to sit and think it through. A lot of Americans can't take the time to sit and think it through, man. They're working like 2.5 jobs. They're working like 4, 5, 6 jobs, right? It's like that skit from In Living Color. Hey, man. Hey, man, I got 16 jobs. I mean, it's like that. Americans are out here trying to make it to the next day, bro. Meanwhile, right, the top 1% is killing it. They're killing it. I want to say the top 5% is responsible for 50% of spending in America right now. Something crazy like that. They're responsible for 50% of spending. In other words, if they stop spending, we got a problem. We got a serious problem. Is public trust in investigations declining? Y'all think the public trust in investigations are declining, or is it just always been low? Is just some people who believe the investigations and some people who don't? I think if the investigations are transparent, I'm with it. I know people don't, when it comes to law enforcement, the average person just don't trust law enforcement, man. Especially anybody who's close to the streets. If you're in the hood, the barrio, the trailer park, right? If you're anywhere near the streets, you don't trust the police because you see what they do daily, right? FBI, DOJ, ICE, local prosecutors, man. Like in Florida, bro, they got a good old boy system down here, bro. They got a lot of oh man, what's the term you use when your family comes in to work? So like aunts and uncles and second and third cousins. It's like it is so infiltrated with folks who know each other, grew up together, whatever, man. Hey, what's that word, guys? When when your family runs everything, man, you just can't seem to. There's no outsiders and all that, man. I can't think of the word, bro. My mind is fried. Some ism. Brother Pablo put it in the chat. Somebody put it in the chat. But I just can't think of the word right now. But yeah, I mean, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's gonna drive me crazy, man. But here in Florida, like the whole state, the higher you go, it just amazes you how many people are in the same family. Like you're so and so's cousin, or that's your granddad, or what? It's crazy. Like, how do we get here? It's like the same families run this state. Now, when it comes to investigations here in Florida, a lot of people got a lot of questions. They're like, what's going on with that? And like, well, that thing with Lindsey Graham's sister, that thing with, the governor naming Lindsey Graham's sister to hold his seat until November, basically. He's doing that because you can't get any of the professional politicians in that seat. They can't take anyone from the House because the margins are so thin in the House. They can't take anyone um, from like the administration. So that's what that was all about. That was actually a smart choice. To be honest with you, that was a smart choice. Um, but yeah, man, it's just one of those. It's just one of those things, man. So when it comes to investigations, I think people are kind of always leery in some places because they got the small town mentality. But in the big metropolitan areas, I think people are okay with the investigations because they're transparent. They get to see everything. So it depends on where you are with it. I mean, do you out there, guys, listening to my voice? If you're watching now, watching on Team Replay, do you trust investigations conducted by the government? Do you by the federal government, state government, local government? Do you trust it? Your city government? I wonder. Let me know in the comments below. Should every officer involved shooting be reviewed independently? Absolutely. I think so. What do you guys think? Possible reforms for that: independent prosecutors, independent investigative teams, national standards. I agree with this one 100%. Anyone who watches my platform, especially when we talk about this sort of thing, yes. I think this is where the government, especially the federal government, can step in and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. It should be independently investigated every single time. That's just how it is. I'm talking about nepotism. Finally got it. I'm talking about nepotism. I knew it was floating around there. Nepotism, right? A lot of nepotism down here in Florida. And I would imagine you would see that in all these smaller states and smaller towns or whatever. A lot of nepotism. So and so, my granddaddy was the governor. My mama and them was, like the mayor or the state representative or whatever. And it's always like the same bloodlines seem to wind up in political power. Makes you wonder. These small towns, big towns, not so much. Big towns, like, I can move to California or I can move to New York or I can move to, some big city, get into politics with a little bit of money, meet some people, do my networking thing. And next thing you know, I can hold a seat somewhere or I can hold some sort of seat. But not here in Florida. It's really hard in Florida. You can't hold a seat, it seems, without the nod from certain families. They got to be like, okay, well, go ahead, let that happen. It's crazy. And if you slide in under the radar, bro, they come for you. They absolutely come for you. Um, Brother Pablo's like he trusted somewhat. Like I said, I trust it if it's an open investigation. I prefer independent investigations. Like if there's there's an officer involved shooting here in Hillsborough County, I don't want the Hillsborough County investigators investigating that. How about some other entity do it? How about some federal entity or some other state entity? Or let's pick a county that's like far away from Hillsborough County. So there's a shooting in Hillsborough County. We're gonna have Dade County investigators come up and investigate. I will be okay with that. I just don't like it. Like your entity did something wrong. Now I need you to investigate and tell me what you did wrong. I just don't like that. I just don't like that. When the FAA did investigations, if something went wrong, right? They send in a team. They send in a team from outside the facility. They'll go put a team together they'll go snatch people from these different facilities and send them in. Now, is that always perfect? No. Does it has his own problems, inherent problems? Yeah. You have somebody from some small facility, they see an opportunity to, snuggle up next to the big facility people. Oh, you got me coming down here to look at this. I'm rubbing elbows with the big facility, the facility commander or like the facility chief. And hey, man, I'm gonna scratch your back. You scratch mine. I'm gonna put in some paperwork so I come down here and hire me as one of your operational guys, like your operations guy. Like I'm gonna be maybe a supervisor or an operations manager. And they cut them deals. Like, yeah, I'll get you out of this. Just bring me down. So, like I said, there's always good and bad to everything. But I like the fact that the FAA goes outside of facility to come investigate that facility. And, law enforcement should be the same way. It should be the same way. So here's a couple poll questions and then we'll wrap this up. Should all federal agents wear body cameras? Absolutely, yes. I say, you guys let me know. Should all federal agents wear body cameras? I know there's a way to do the polls on YouTube, but I'm not on YouTube. I'm on StreamYard. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'll do is set my poll questions early, put them in there, and then it's done. But I can't do it now because I'm in StreamYard doing this. But yeah, I think that all federal agents should wear a body camera. If you wear a badge and a gun, and you're out in the public, you should have on a body camera, in my opinion. I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're at the lowest level or the highest level, you should have on a body camera. Should ICE officers be investigated by local prosecutors? Yes, I think so. Yes. Maybe you can have some federal personnel on the team, but I think the team should be led by the jurisdiction in which the offense occurred or the incident occurred. So yeah, that's my take. Again, guys, let me know what y'all think. If you're watching this on Team Replay or whatever, let me know what you think. Have Americans become too quick to judge police shootings? I know I have. And bro, I need video because once I hear about a police shooting, I'm always like, I think the cop did something wrong. But once you see a video, you see what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay, oh, that's a good shoot. But yeah, I'm always looking side eye at law enforcement. Always. So here's some closing thoughts, man. Justice should never begin with politics. I think we can all agree on that. If we can't, we should be able to agree on that. Justice should never begin with politics. Justice begins with evidence. The law applies equally to everyone. Whether you're a police officer, an ICE agent, a civilian, the same question should always be asked. Was it legal? Was it necessary? Could it have been avoided? Until investigators answer these questions or answer those questions, everything else is just opinion, right? So that's it. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all, man. Again, shout out to Chat GPT, man. Chat does a good job for this. And I use Claude for the other stuff I'm doing. Like you guys know, I'm working on a book about my experience being in the Hillsborough County Jail. That whole process, I'm writing a book about it. I'm just about done with chapter 1. I am done with chapter 1, but we got to go back and edit. And I use Claude to help me edit. A lot of people like, oh, just let it write the whole book for you. Like, nah, man, I want it in my voice. And for any of you guys who are out here thinking about using Claude, I would suggest that all you do is put in a really good writing sample so the AI can get a feel for you, your writing style, and then you're good to go, man. Just you're off to the races. And it's funny, I put in some writing samples, and then I began to get the work done. I'm starting to write. I'm putting it in there, and it's funny. I can see how people are getting so latched on to these AI, man. You forget you're talking to a computer because it's just so crazy. I'll put my information in, and I'm like, I'm not doing it in any particular order, but there is a little bit of a sequence there. So I'm just writing, I'm typing, I'm doing my thing. Then I'll post it to Claude, and the AI gives you feedback immediately. And it's talking to you using your name, like, oh, Saint, man, this is really good. This is right on par with your writing style. I love the way you're doing this and this. I don't even have to make any changes. I think we're good for a rough draft. I can't wait to get more information as soon as you get some more done. Upload it, share it with me, right away. And I had to catch myself a couple times because I'm reading this stuff and then I'm responding because I don't want to set up to where it's all audio, right? I have the interface. I just don't want to do it because now they're talking back in a voice, and I mean it just can really be confusing. So I'm typing or I'll use talk to text. But yeah, man, it's like, yeah, you're spot on. This is and I did something. I made a creative choice to do something, and it was a phrase I used or something I used, and the AI caught it right away. This isn't normally how you write. This isn't normally your voice. Are you doing something different here? Or, it's asking you questions, and it's like, I'm just experimenting with it. We'll see how it plays, once, and, if I don't like it, we can, move it around or do away with it in the edit. Oh, okay, good call. Yeah, we can worry about it in the edit, but I just wanted to let you know that you're outside of your normal voice. That blew my mind, bro. Like the AI, man. AI ain't no joke, bro. So I just want to throw that out there. Shout out to Claude, shout out to Chat GPT. Chat really helps me with the YouTube stuff, the thumbnails and all that. And Claude has helped me with all the other things that I'm doing. And I'm doing a lot. So this is pretty cool, man. So got a few questions for the audience and then we'll wrap this up. Based on what we know today, would you charge the ICE agent or wait for the investigation? Ooh, that's a good question. That's the first one. I know my answer to that. I wonder if can I put this? I think I can. I'm gonna try to put this in the chat. I'm gonna put this in the chat. So we got some questions here, guys. So in the chat, All right, there's a question right there. Let me show all the brother Pablo stuff, man. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. It's like, yeah, here in California, when you have a merger, is often when you have a 187, is what he meant to say, is often another county trial. Yeah, they do a change of venue. You're right about that. They try to do a change of venue. Um, so I'm going to put some questions in the chat for you guys if you're watching on Team Replay. I'm just curious if what are your answers? And here's the first one. Based on what we know today, would you charge the ICE agent or would you wait for the investigation? Here's the second. Here's the second question here. Let's go ahead and drop that in there. So, and I'm with brother. Yeah, definitely will wait for the investigation. Um, Here's the second question: should Congress require body cameras for all federal law enforcement officers? Y'all know my answer to that. 100%. Let's see. We just got two more. I'm gonna put these in here. Two more questions. I appreciate your brother Pablo, man. He's like so active in the chat, man. Thank you so much. Um, Question number 3: does the public give officers too much benefit of the doubt or not enough? Damn, that's a good one. I think I'm gonna say 50-50. I'm gonna say half of the public gives police officers too much of the benefit of the doubt, and the other half doesn't give them enough. I'm gonna say 50-50. That's my answer on that one. But wow, that's a good question. You know what I mean, man? Shout out to Chat GPT. And Pablo was saying no. So I split it up because I don't give any benefit of the doubt to law enforcement. I need to see video. When cop tell if police say, oh, there was an officer involved shooting and someone died, I'm always like, it's the cop's fault. I'm thinking guilty until proven innocent kind of thing. And the final question: what level of transparency should federal agencies provide after officer involved shootings? I think it should be the highest level of transparency. I think it should be the highest level. But I'm curious, man. I hope you guys, if you're watching this, if you made it to the end, please answer those questions in the chat, man. I'm just curious to hear what you have to say. Appreciate you, brother Pablo, man. Thank you so much. Don DeMarco, to you, brother, for just being there, man. I truly appreciate you. I got to get going. I set aside an hour to do this. I'm gonna be on today with Red Pill Crip. So that's the homie. I'm gonna be on his platform today. I'm not sure what time. Hold on, let me check. Because I asked him what time and he didn't hit me back. It's gonna be sometime this evening. So he's in like Missouri, Kansas City. So it's gonna be this evening. I'm not gonna do a thumbnail or anything like that. But just be looking. Just be looking. I think what I'll do is, depending on who else is on the show with us, I'll just like stream the show on this platform, but we're gonna be on his platform. So that's me and Red Pill Crip gonna be talking. Now we're gonna be talking some Red Pill stuff. Actually gonna be some pretty good questions on there, pretty good topic. So it depends on who's on the panel, because brother Red Pill ain't monetized yet, so it gets wild over there. And if I have it on my platform, I can't monetize it. I'll get demonetized. There's a lot of words that YouTube doesn't like. It really hurts me because I'm trying to get out of the doghouse. And then when I'm on Red Pill Crip over there, man, we be wilding. So I'm like, sometimes I just leave it there. But Red Pill Crip, let me pull it up real quick. Let me drop it in. We right here. Give me 1 second. We'll probably glitch in here because I'm pulling up. Because I know he has it. Give me 1 second. Red Pill Crip. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put the link in the description because I'm pretty sure he has it up. And if he doesn't put his channel in the description, you guys just come over to his channel and check it out. So we'll be live. He doesn't have it up yet. He doesn't have it up yet. So, all right. So here's the deal. I'm just gonna put it up. Red Pill Crip. Just make sure you guys, if you can, just pull up, check us out. I'm gonna put a link to his YouTube channel in the description here in the chat, so you guys can come check this out. Oh, here it is. Copy, paste. So there it is right there. There's the link to Red Pill Crip. You know what I'm saying? He's the homie. We're working over there trying to, just kind of, me, I'm breaking in every space I can. I'm in every bubble I can get into, just doing what we do and making it happen. There it is. So come check us out. We'll be on there this evening. I don't know what time exactly. Sorry. I wish I did, but I may simulcast on this platform, or it just might be 100% over there. But Brother Pablo, man, thank you again, man. I really appreciate you, fam. Always support. I do. I truly appreciate it, man. You stay safe out there, bro. I don't know what the temperature is like, man, but I know it's, fire season, the summertime, it gets warm out there, man. But you're in the Bay. Sometimes it cool, it stays nice and cool in the Bay area, but sometimes it doesn't, man. So just be careful out there. Appreciate you subscribing over there, man. He's like, I'm not interested in scoring with chicks. That's fine. But we talk about a whole bunch of other stuff over there as well. So that's it. I'm done, man. I'm done. This was fun. Appreciate you so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, Brother Pablo, we're going to talk about the Democratic Socialists soon. Might even do it tomorrow. If I don't do it tomorrow, I'll definitely do it hopefully by Friday. Just keep looking for the thumbnails. We're going to do it, man. Because I've been thinking about doing this show for a minute anyway. I definitely want to talk about what's going on with the war in Iran and how it's going to affect us. So you're going to see some more political stuff over the next few days for sure. So anyway, I'm out of here, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks you for rocking out with me. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. We out of here. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. Really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.